chilling effect. When punishment for what people say becomes widespread, people stop saying what they really think and instead say whatever is needed to thrive in the social environment. Thus, limits on speech become limits on sincerity.
Yeah. So, I mean, so this is, a sort of very timely thing, I think, because there's a lot of talk about sort of suppressing people from social media and stuff. And I think people should really realize that stopping people from airing their true opinions doesn't change their opinions. It just makes them mask their opinions. And when this happens at scale, it can lead to all kinds of absurd situations, like the Abilene paradox. I don't know if we've covered the Abilene paradox.
Run it back.
It's basically it's basically a situation where everyone professes a belief that no one actually believes, purely because they think everybody else believes it. And so you can have a situation where literally everybody just is saying stuff that is just not true for the sole reason that they think everybody else thinks it's true. And an example of this would probably be considered sort of the issue of what a woman is. You've got pretty much everybody in the mainstream culture now pretending that they don't know what a woman is. But if you were to ask these people in private, they would probably be able to tell you. They'd just probably say an adult human female. But because there's this sort of stigma now around knowing what a woman is, people, basically sort of, they have to pretend like they don't know. And it leads to absurd situation after absurd situation. And that's why I think I mean, there's many reasons, there's many arguments against censorship, but this is definitely one of the strongest, I think. By censoring people, you're not changing their behavior, you're not changing their opinions, you're not changing their beliefs. All you're doing is just sort of sweeping them under the carpet, and they're just going to continue. You just won't be able to see it anymore. So you can't keep track of these people anymore.
This ties into your view about when people are their opinions, they feel like they have to have an opinion on anything and everything, and changing your opinion is tantamount to destruction of yourself. So because people value their opinions so much, in this situation, quite rightly, the performative nature of having the right opinion, of the Abilene paradox, playing along with that has never been more important, because opinions have never been more relevant to our status within the world.
Yeah, absolutely. And you see this reflected most in precisely the industries that you would expect it to be reflected in, i.e. the industries that are image oriented. So if you have a look at people who have the most fashionable opinions, I mean, Rob Henderson would probably call these luxury beliefs. They're sort of, fashionable opinions that people adopt in order to sort of signal status. When I was a kid, we all used to buy sweatshirts which had brand names stamped across the front of them, Fila or Nike, when you're a kid at school, because you want everybody to know that you paid for it. So nowadays, when you get older, you no longer wear these labels. Now it's opinions instead. You have the she, her, and the he, him, instead of poor homme, poor femme, and it's sort of like, you see this in Hollywood, you see it amongst Hollywood actors, you see it amongst academics, you see it in politics, you see it in all of the industries where image is important, where basically appearing to have the right opinions is more important than actually having the correct opinions.
Yes, and it's also an industry where opinions and actions have never been more diverged, right? Somebody can have a Twitter account that proselytizes the right beliefs, and in private hold completely different beliefs, or the way that they go about living their lives be totally different. You could be an online vegan who's an offline carnivore, and for as long as the twine shall never meet, it kind of doesn't really matter so much. Whereas in the past, your ability to profess a belief that you didn't live up to in reality would have been much more difficult to diverge, especially before the internet, right? Or before print media. There is no way for you. Your opinions are very much your actions, right? There is no way to do this and to bifurcate you and what you say from what you are and what you do. So yeah, it's the opportunity and the motive have aligned to create this chilling effect.
Yeah, absolutely. I think people have, what the digital age has done is it's separated the person from the persona. So now, there's a much wider gulf between how you appear to others and how you actually are than there ever was, because of the sort of importance of social media in our daily lives. And so because of that sort of dissociation, there's now big gulf between the beliefs that people profess and what they actually believe in real life. There's no consequences nowadays for what a person actually believes, really, in most of the time, anyway. At least as long as you have the fashionable opinions, if you have unfashionable opinions, then there is consequences. But if you believe something like, for instance, uh, that it's not a problem for, like, for instance, there was this issue in Scotland recently about that there was a rapist who was locked in a women's prison briefly, and then there was an outcry about it over the internet, which sort of led Nicola Sturgeon to walk it back and may have led to a resignation. But I mean, if you're like a really, really sort of rich Hollywood actor, and you've got nobody who's going to go to prison. There's nobody in your life who's ever gone to prison or anything like that. You don't need to worry about anybody being hurt by your opinions on whether whether a trans rapist should be allowed in a woman's prison. So you're not paying the consequences; other people are paying the consequences. And you could say the same thing about black crime rates or whatever. People say that black people are being shot at a disproportionate rate by police, and that this is purely due to systemic racism. If you're a Hollywood actor, you don't need to worry about the true causes of the sort of crime rates in black neighborhoods. So you could just say it's all just systemic racism.
Yeah, or the outcomes of defunding the police, right? Defund the police
Exactly,
would be a perfect example of this. Say it, but yours isn't the neighborhood where you need police in any case. What's happening, people? If you enjoyed that, then press here for the full, unedited episode. And don't forget to subscribe. Peace.